What's going on, guys? The SSN back again with another video. I appreciate you stopping by, and I hope that you're having a great week so far and enjoyed your Christmas. I did not put out a Christmas Day video. I was busy with family and with my fiance, so I hope that you guys had a great time, and let's go ahead and get straight into the video. So as you guys can see, there have been some major changes to the channel. Something that I've been working on for a very long time is starting to incorporate some Madden gameplay into the channel. Rebuilds, franchise modes, gameplay, just stuff to mix it up a little bit and give you something else to look at other than my face every single video. So guys, I hope that you enjoy. If you're excited about the new changes to the channel, excited for some Madden gameplay, some rebuilds, hit the like button down below. And if you haven't already, definitely subscribe. So we're starting off realistically. This is week 16. We are rebuilding the Miami Dolphins. We're going to make realistic moves. We have some players ready to negotiate some new contracts. So we're going to take a look at what we've got here. Matt Breida is our #1 guy. I don't know how interested I am in bringing somebody like him back. I don't know that I want to sign him long term. He's not expensive, so maybe he'd be worth a 4-year deal. I don't think that's a terrible contract. He would be a decent backup. So we'll offer him that contract. He's happy to play for this great organization. Do you know who you're signing with? Miami, great organization. Maybe 30 years ago. But current day, I don't know about that. Devon Godchow, pretty much expendable at this point. Just because of Raekwon Davis, he's been really good. Christian Wilkins, we could also slide back into D-tackle if we decide to move back over to a 4-3. Got Nick Needham in here. He's somebody that I could re-sign, but I don't want to re-sign him for a ton of money. That's actually not a bad contract. I think for a nickel corner, I'd be happy to re-sign him, at least for a little while. And if he's not producing, or if we want to focus on somebody else, we could always trade him later. But he will progress, and he's only 23. Albert Wilson is gone. Matt Hawk, I'll re-sign him free agency. Ryan Fitzpatrick, sorry, man, you are out of here. 23 mil for 1 year. We're just going to focus on other pieces, and maybe he'll retire. I don't know. Cameron Grugier-Hill, not interested. Beagle has been good in real life, but also injured, so not interested. DeAndre Washington, no. Landon Roberts, no. I really think I'm going to pass on the rest of these guys. I don't have a lot of interest, at least in the game. Real life, maybe a different story, but in the game, I'm not too interested. Now, I already did load in a realistic draft class, and I did my scouting for it, added some players to my draft board, so I'm not going to run you through that, but we're going to go ahead and sim to week 17. Obviously, we forced that win against Las Vegas. Got some players to upgrade, and I think Super Bowl week 1, we've got potential dev trait upgrades is when I'm going to show you guys the team. So let's go ahead and sim to Super Bowl week. Actually, excuse me, we're going to sim one more week ahead, see if we beat Buffalo. Should be a really tough game, especially in real life, and we do win. So we sneak in to the wild card, and we play Buffalo back-to-back. We'll see if we can make it happen a second time through. But before we do that, let's go ahead and look at the stats for the season. 24th ranked offense, definitely not the best. And then defensively, 15th best defense. So clearly a very different looking defense from last year. Played much better. Tua, 1,900 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks. Really kind of just split time with Fitzpatrick, who had pretty similar numbers. A little bit more accurate. But similar numbers, similar quarterbacks, at least for this year. Myles Gaskin, not a good year. Didn't average 4 yards a carry, only 2 touchdowns. Matt Breida was all right, just didn't see a lot of carries. And then same thing with Salvon Ahmed, who has actually been pretty good in real life. Just in the game, I don't know if we're going to use him really at all. Receiving-wise, Devontae Parker leads the way. 4 touchdowns, almost 800 yards. Mike Gesicki, same story. 8 touchdowns, though. Not bad for him. Jakeem Grant is really just kind of a return specialist. He's a special teams guy. And then Preston Williams has been hurt pretty much all season. Another season, back-to-back, pretty much of him being hurt. So definitely not good. But in the game, injuries are off, so we can focus on developing him long-term. And then defensively, Jerome Baker leads the way with 105 tackles, 6.5 sacks. That's not a bad season for him. No tackles for loss. Do they not record that in real-life stats? Probably not. I guess not. But next up is Eric Rowe. We're going to look at sacks. Now, clearly, because the majority of these stats are from real life, Emmanuel Ogbah records 12. Kyle Van Noy was 7.5. But once we sim next season, these stats probably are not going to be there. Emmanuel Ogbah in the game is just not the best player, unfortunately. He would be somebody that I'd like to keep around long-term in real life. But in the game, I just don't know what I'm going to do with him. Xavier Howard is somebody that I want to keep around long-term in the game and in real life. 10 interceptions on the season is insane. He's the first Dolphin since 1967, I believe, to record 10 or more interceptions. He's been amazing, and I think a lot of that is due to Byron Jones really locking down his side of the field. Quarterbacks have to throw more in the direction of Xavier Howard this year just because of how well Byron Jones has played. So let's go ahead and take a look at yearly awards. Tua will not be in there for anything. Kyler Murray wins MVP with the Cardinals. That's nice. No Dolphins in here. AFC Offensive Player of the Year is Patrick Mahomes. No Dolphins. AFC Defensive Player of the Year is TJ Watt. Xavier Howard at number 2. I was expecting him to win, but that's okay. He will see a dev trade upgrade. I am sure of that on Super Bowl week. Tua sneaks in at number 6 for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And Defensive Rookie of the Year is Patrick Queen. Yeah, no surprise there. But Brandon Jones does sneak in there at number 7. He's been pretty good in real life, actually. I've really liked watching him play. Strong safety. He's been a nice pickup for Miami, and he was a later round pick too. Let's go ahead and see if we can beat the Bills in the wild card. I doubt that we will, and we do. We beat the Bills in the wild card, 24-20. That is awesome. Now we have to face the Chiefs. Clearly one of the best teams in the league, if not the best. 15-1 on the season. This is going to be a tough game. We'll see if we can beat them. I'm not sure about it. I'm expecting we probably lose, but we win. We beat the Chiefs 35-34 in the division. Now we've got the conference championship against Pittsburgh, another really, really solid team. Go ahead and see if we can beat Pittsburgh. With the roll that we're on, I wouldn't be surprised. And we lose to Pittsburgh 28-14. That's right, we made it a lot farther than I thought that we would. So let's go ahead and sim to the offseason. I want to check out some dev trade upgrades. I'm sure that we're going to have a handful of them. So we're going to sim past the Super Bowl and see what we've got. So it was the Steelers and the Seahawks. Steelers won the Super Bowl 24-21. Let's take a look at the team, though. This team is very interesting. There's a lot of holes, a lot of things that I'd like to focus on in the draft and free agency. But we are doing this realistically, so I have to keep that in mind. Tua will be the quarterback of the future. It's just what's going to happen in real life. Devontae Parker has been really, really good. At least, he was really good last year. This year, numbers are down, but I'm not surprised by that. It was with a rookie quarterback half of the time. So we're going to keep Devontae Parker around at least for another year or two. He is going to hit age of regression, though. If not this year, then next year. He's already regressing. Okay, so Devontae Parker, we might look to move. Considering we have Preston Williams, injuries are off, and then we can focus on receiver in the draft as well, which is something that Miami really might do. We've got Austin Jackson, Eric Flowers, Ted Karras, Solomon Kinley, and Robert Hunt as our starting offensive line. Guys, really, honestly, in the game, really Robert Hunt and Eric Flowers would be the only guys that are safe, at least for the foreseeable future. Austin Jackson, I just don't know if I can develop him. Ted Karras is a little bit older. I actually really like Solomon Kinley in real life. We'll see if we can develop him a little bit in the game. Mike Gesicki is a monster. He is one of the best young tight ends in football, so he's going to be really good for a really long time. I think his contract is due to extend next season, so we're going to be giving him a pretty hefty extension on his contract, but it'll be worth it because he is a great target. Now, running back-wise, we have Matt Breida, we have Myles Gaskin, DeAndre Washington, Patrick Laird, and then Salvon Ahmed is also a running back on the team right now. We're going to have to focus on running back. If not in free agency, then for sure in the draft a little bit later on. And then receiving-wise, Devontae Parker, Jakeem Grant, Preston Williams is hurt right now. I didn't take off a pre-existing injury, so he'll be coming back soon. We do have Isaiah Ford that we brought back on, so we kind of got Isaiah Ford and a free pick from New England because they cut him. We have Matt Collins, Lynn Bowden Jr., Alan Hearns, Albert Wilson. Defensively, though, is where things are a little bit more interesting. Our cornerbacks are really, really good. Xavier Howard and Byron Jones have been phenomenal this year. I've really, really been excited about watching them play. Now, we did re-sign Nick Needham. He is on a 5-year deal, but he's very, very cheap. Igbenogany is also somebody that in the game I'd like to develop. Just in real life, he's been a dumpster fire. He's been so bad. Our safeties, Bobby McCain and Eric Rowe, I just don't think either of those guys are going to be around for a long time. Could try to develop Brandon Jones maybe a little bit and trade Bobby McCain for a pick. We'll see what we can do there. Clayton Fedulum is a special teams guy, and Kevon Frazier, kind of same thing with him. Now, linebackers, Elandon Roberts and Jerome Baker are our middle linebackers. Definitely stand to upgrade over Elandon Roberts. Jerome Baker is a really good building block, especially in Madden. He's also really good in real life, so I like him, especially with the star development. Now, Kyle Van Noy is interesting. He's not bad, but he's also old, and he's going to definitely regress if he's not doing that already, and he is. So Kyle Van Noy, I might look to be trading him. Shaq Lawson just doesn't do much in the game at all, and he hasn't done anything in real life. I mean, it's very mediocre type of year. I like Andrew Van Ginkel more than Shaq Lawson. I think he just offers more. Now, I don't know exactly how he profiles in the game. He is primarily a speed rusher. Let's see. He's got 65 power moves, 74 finesse moves, 74 block shedding. So there could be something to build around there with Andrew Van Ginkel. We'll give it a shot. I'd like to kind of just see if I can get anything out of him. And he is also really young. He's only 26 years old. So, I mean, we've at least got 4, maybe 3 years left in him to develop and see if we can do anything there. But linebackers do tend to progress pretty easily in Madden. And then last but not least, we've got our defensive line. Raekwon Davis has been really, really good this year out of Alabama. Christian Wilkins, also pretty good. Emmanuel Ogbah has been really good in real life, but, you know, as we talked about earlier, just not sure what we're going to be able to do with him long-term in Madden. I think he's due for a contract extension next season, so we're really going to have to think about what to do with him. But for the time being, guys, we're going to go ahead and look forward to free agency. We're working with plenty of money, so we're going to see what we can do in free agency, pick up a couple of pieces. I'll see you there. All right, so in free agency, we are dealing with about $40 million in cap space. Juju is here. Desmond King is here. Desmond King would actually be really nice to pick up. We could slide him back to safety where he did play for quite a while. Gronk is here. Mike Hilton. Alex Mack, I would like him, but he's really old. He will probably retire after this year. And if he doesn't, he's going to regress a ton. Phillip Lindsay, I like him, but he just doesn't do that well on Madden. And we do need running back, so maybe we can consider picking him up, but I just don't think that I'm going to. Marcus Williams is also a really nice option, so I could see if maybe we could sign somebody like him. But aside from those guys, I just don't see a whole lot that I think is worth trying to pick up. Maybe Gerald Everett. Now, Marcus Williams is not expensive, and I'm going to sign him to a long-term deal. We did sign Marcus Williams. That's a really big pickup. That's a huge pickup for Miami. We needed an upgrade at free safety. We've also got Brandon Jones that we could potentially develop, but he's also just a 70 overall and normal development. So we've got to consider our options here. Okay, so we did sign back Matt Hawk, and we can go ahead and simulate to the draft where we've got a couple of picks to work with, including Houston's really, really high overall pick. They have been bad this year. Okay, so we are sitting at number 4 in the draft right now. This is a really, really strong draft class, but it's got a lot of quarterbacks, and so that's what I'm trying to consider is that Penei Sewell, somebody like him, might fall to number 4. I'm really hoping that he does, but I think Atlanta's got the 3rd overall pick, and they will likely pick him. Maybe it's a trade-up scenario, but we've got 4, and we've got pick 30 because we went so deep into the playoffs, which is something that I don't anticipate happening if we make the playoffs at all this year. So we've got Trevor Lawrence, who will for sure go number 1 overall. Justin Fields will almost certainly go number 2. And then the number 3 pick is really kind of up in the air. I really, really like Penei Sewell. I think he's a great, great tackle. One of the best tackle prospects that I've ever seen. So he's just somebody that I would really like to pick up onto this team. He's just a super well-rounded guy. I would love him. Micah Parsons wouldn't be a bad option if we couldn't trade up to number 3. But ultimately, I just think Penei Sewell is the better option. So we're going to see what we can do. I'm definitely going to sim the first couple of picks. This will be Trevor Lawrence here. And then I anticipate that number 2 will be Justin Fields, and it is. So we're looking at Atlanta at number 3. I'm going to see if I can get anything together to trade up to number 3. Okay, so we've traded up to number 3 overall. We've traded the 4th overall pick, so we move up 1 spot. We also did get rid of Bobby McCain, who is pretty much expendable at this point, and he has a huge contract. I think his cap hit was like $7.5 million. So we dumped some salary, and we also gave them a 3rd round pick from next year for a 1 this year and their 1 next year. So that's a lot of value. I'm really happy with that trade. And obviously with the 3rd overall pick, we're going to go and bolster up the offensive line. It's something that needs to happen, and it's one of the best offensive lineman prospects that, I mean, we're really probably ever going to come across. Penei Sewell is a beast. He is a 78 overall, star better development, ranked number 2. We pick him at 3. He is a monster. 90 strength, 83 run block, 84 pass block. He's agile. He's not slow. I mean, his 73 speed is not bad, and he's got good acceleration to get up to that top speed. He's just one of the most well-rounded offensive linemen that you're ever going to see. I think he adds a lot to this offensive line. He's going to help things out a ton for Miami. So we're going to go ahead and simulate to the 30th pick. I think 1 trade up is all that Miami would do in real life and all that I probably would do in real life as well. So I'm going to look at what we've got at number 30 overall. Travis Etienne is there. We do need a running back. Joseph Osai would not be bad. We do need an edge. Rondale Moore is also there. And we do pick at number 4 in the second round. Somebody like Rondale Moore would be really, really awesome to pick up in the second round. He translates great as a slot. He's going to be a really, really good option, I think, for this Dolphins offensive scheme. We have enough big guys, and I'd like to pick up somebody who's really good in the slot. He's fast, someone who can spread the field. So I'd really like to focus on potentially picking up Rondale Moore later, but right now I just don't want to pick him up. I'm looking at some other options, and ultimately, I mean, we could draft another offensive lineman. Elijah Vera Tucker is there, and he's also really good and super versatile. He has been playing left tackle in college, but he's also really good as a guard, and we drafted our left tackle. I'm just not sure if Rondale Moore is going to be sitting there later, because if we wait until the second round, we pick at 4 and then we pick at 30, and I just don't think Rondale Moore is going to be there at pick 30. And I'm not sure if Elijah Vera Tucker is going to be either. So I think ultimately right now, Rondale Moore is probably the best option. He is going to be a little bit of a reach, but I like him a lot, and I think he's going to add a lot to this offense. He's a 72 overall, star or better development. He is ranked 38th, and we picked him at 30. So like I said, a little bit of a reach, but it's worth it. He's super fast. His route running is not bad. Catching definitely needs to go up. That'll be a problem if we don't develop it. But ultimately, all in all, he's a really, really good option at receiver. He's just one of those dynamic guys that you can get the ball to. So Rondale Moore, welcome to Miami. He's going to be a really good addition to this offense. Okay, so simulating to our next pick, 4th overall in the second round. We do have some options. Elijah Vera Tucker is going to be there. Joseph Osai is there, and he's also a pretty good speed rusher out of Texas. I really like him a lot, but I just don't know if it's worth trying to take that risk and pass up on Elijah Vera Tucker, who honestly I think I might just wind up going with. He's strong, he's fast, he's agile, and he's super versatile, like I said. We're going to pick him up. He's a 73 overall, star better development. He's ranked 24th in the class, and we took him at 36. He's going to be really, really good for us. 91 strength, 79 run block, 78 pass block. He's pretty fast, too. 71 speed, not bad. I mean, it's not the fastest, but it's not terrible. 74 acceleration is not horrible either. So I really like him. We can plug him right into left guard. Eric Flowers can probably slide over to right guard. We're going to go ahead and sim to our 30th pick in the second round and see what we're working with there. Might be some options here offensively if we can find some more linemen, or if we could pick up, I'm trying to think, if we could pick up somebody on the edge. Brenton Cox is not a bad option, but he's also not ideally who I would like to pick up. And we could really just try to run with someone like Emmanuel Ogbah and maybe Van Ginkel as our rush ends. I just don't know how much I'm going to be able to develop Van Ginkel. Okay, so I think all things considered, there's not a ton of rush end options right now. There's not a ton of safety options right now. There's not a ton of offensive line options right now. So I think really ultimately I'd really like to go with Hamza Nasruddin. He's been really good for Florida State. He's huge, he's fast, he's strong. He really profiles almost exactly like Isaiah Simmons, maybe just not as talented, but I like him a lot. I think he offers a lot of value to this defense. We could slide him into linebacker. We could keep him at strong safety. Either way, he's going to develop, and he's going to be really good. He's ranked 63 in the class. We took him at 62, which is clearly a huge reach. 70 overall, star better development. He's going to be really, really good. 90 speed, 91 hip power, 94 acceleration. He can tackle a little bit. Can't really cover, but we can develop that. So I think right now the biggest thing that he brings to the table is he's fast and he can hit pretty hard. So if we can develop the coverage, I think he'd be a really awesome option at strong safety. But like I said, he's also versatile. We could slide him down to linebacker if we really wanted to. We're going to have to assess what we've got at linebacker and then, look at him and see where we really want to place him. So at pick number 30 in the third round, let's kind of see what we're working with here. Kadarius Toney is on the board. I didn't think about running back. And I'm really stupid for not thinking about running back. I don't know how I missed that, but I did. And now all the good running backs are off the board. That was my mistake, and it was a stupid mistake. Kadarius Toney is here, and I like him a lot. He profiles really similarly to Rondale Moore. He's just fast, he's shifty, he's a slot guy. It's pretty much all he's ever going to do is be in the slot. Muhammad Ibrahim has been pretty good this year. He's actually been really good this year. But he's slow. I just don't think he's going to bring a lot to the table in the game, at least. honestly, I'm just not sure exactly what to do with this pick. So I think I might just go with my gut and take Kadarius Toney. He's another receiver. We need options. He's ranked 68th, or excuse me, he's a 68 overall, star better development, 93 in the class, and we took him at 94. He's pretty much the same as Rondale Moore. It's 93 speed, 97 acceleration. Route running is not as good as Rondale Moore, but the catching is. They both suck at catching, so they're pretty similar in that way. Release could go up, but ultimately, I think he's a pretty good option. He'll be someone to plug in at the slot with Rondale Moore, and they should be just fine. I'm going to go ahead and take our pick at the 4th round, and then I'll let the CPU handle the rest. I'm not too worried about our 6th and 7th round pick. I don't even know if we have a 7th, but we'll go ahead and look at the 4th round. Not a ton to work with. Marco Wilson completely threw away his team's opportunity to make it to the college football playoffs. Threw it away. You get it. Nice pun. But go Gators. I'm a huge Gators fan. You guys can probably see the pennant in the background, but maybe. Why not? We'll pick him up. He is horrible. He's a 63 overall, normal development. He is not going to develop ever, but it's just a fun storyline. His coverage is garbage. 67 man coverage, 63 zone. He's not that fast. He can't catch. He can't tackle, but he can throw shoes. He can throw cleats better than anybody. We're going to sim to the end of the draft. Go ahead and assess what we've got after that, and I'll see you guys there. Okay, so this is the team after the draft. Offensive line has improved a little bit. We've got Penei Sewell at left tackle. He's going to be great for the future. Elijah Vera Tucker is also going to be great for a very long time. I really want to try and develop Robert Hunt. I think he's one of the better offensive linemen that we have on this team. Eric Flowers is not bad right now, but he's also super expensive. Yeah, so Eric Flowers' contract is pretty huge. He's got 2 years remaining, $12 and then $13 million for the cap hit. But maybe we could keep him around for those 2 years and then let him walk afterwards. He will be 29 by then. So that might be the better option to do for this team right now. The offensive line is improving. We could use a center. Aside from that, I'd like to just try to develop these guys and see what I could do. Now, receiving-wise, I'm going to move Preston Williams up to our number 1 spot. Rondale Moore will be our 2nd. Kadarius Toney will be our 3rd. And I'm going to get rid of Devontae Parker. Now, I know this might not happen in real life, but he didn't have a great season this year. He's still struggling with injuries. Obviously, that won't happen in the game, but he is 29 years old now. 28 years old, excuse me, but he is regressing. With the contract that he's on, I'd rather get rid of him and try to pick up somebody. I want to pick up a running back. And defensively, I really want to pick up a linebacker. We could use another linebacker. Kyle Van Noy, I'm not that high on, but we could look at getting rid of him after this year maybe, or maybe at the midseason mark. I'll stop it a little bit early. But I think right now our main focus is going to be linebacker and running back. We really need a running back to help Tua out a little bit because he's just got no help in terms of the running game. So we're going to look at trading some guys, and I'll see you when I come up with something. All right, so we did make a trade. Devontae Parker straight up for Jonathan Taylor. Now, I know this isn't the biggest name to trade for right now at the running back position, but I just didn't want to pick up somebody who is super unrealistic. Now, I know the Colts did just pick him up in the draft last year, but he's pretty far back in the depth chart behind Nyheim Hines and Marlon Mack. So I just think it's a good option. He's somebody that we could definitely develop. I'm going to try to make another trade and pick up some sort of linebacker. I just got to look at who I'm willing to get rid of right now that's not too unrealistic. All right, we have made another trade, guys. Now, this is not for a linebacker, but somebody that I really couldn't pass up. The Falcons were interested in Jesse Davis and Myles Gaskin. Both of those guys are not going to play at all. Now, we did trade away our first-round pick. We did pick it up. So we still have our first, but this is going to potentially be a really high draft pick. So I was kind of going back and forth whether I really wanted it, but Grady Jarrett is just a really, really good option. He's also versatile, and if I like Raekwon Davis or Christian Wilkins more at D-tackle, I can move him over to right end in a 3-4. I think that he's going to be our nose tackle. I think he's a great option. So we're going to keep looking. I'm going to poke around for another linebacker. I really want to find somebody that I can plug in there with Jerome Baker. So I'm going to do some experimenting. I'll catch you guys when I find a trade. All right, guys, we did make another trade. Now, this is going to be someone who's going to move down to middle linebacker with Jerome Baker, and it's Isaiah Simmons. He is super versatile. Like I said, with Thompson and Searledine, kind of the same build, same type of player, but Isaiah Simmons just offers a little bit more versatility, offers a little bit more to this team. Now, we did get rid of Matt Breida, who's our backup running back, but we can always pick up one later. Shaq Lawson, I was planning on getting rid of him anyways, and he does have a huge contract. Now, we did trade away our first-round pick, so that's something that we're going to need to try and get back. But I'm going to see, maybe we can pick up a first-round pick if we get rid of somebody like Eric Rowe, who is expendable at this point. And I'm going to see what I can pick up. Maybe the Colts would be willing to trade their first round pick if it's not too high. Okay, now our final trade, and I think this is going to be it for me, is Eric Rowe and a third round pick next year for the Colts first round pick. They usually don't do amazing in sim, so we're going to go ahead and see what we can get with that pick. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the team. We've got Tua at the quarterback. We're really going to try to develop him. Jonathan Taylor, who we just picked up, and we need to go pick up a backup running back maybe in free agency. And we've got Kadarius Toney. We have Rondale Moore. Those are going to be our three main guys, and then Jeremy Grant can also be there at our fourth spot. Now, in terms of our offensive line, Penei Sewell, Eric Flowers, Solomon Kinley, who I really would like to develop, but I just don't know how much I'm going to be able to. Elijah Vera Tucker and Robert Hunt. And we've got Mike Gesicki, Adam Shaheen, Durham Smythe. Those are going to be our tight ends for the video so far. Now, defensively is where we definitely shook things up quite a bit here. Now, we're going to have to move down Isaiah Simmons to middle linebacker. Andrew Van Ginkel can play right outside linebacker. Kyle Vanoy can play left. We're going to have Hamsah Nasruddin as our starting strong safety. Picked up Marcus Williams in free agency. And then we got Grady Jarrett, which was a huge trade. So let's go ahead and move Isaiah Simmons down to middle linebacker. Okay, so all of the specialists have been adjusted. We're going to go ahead and auto upgrade. I think Austin Jackson and Tua was the other one there. I'm going to go ahead and sim past the preseason all the way into the mid-season mark. I will see you guys there. I'm really curious what our record's going to be. I think we've definitely improved the team. Defensively, I think we're more well-rounded now. We did have a solid draft. I'm really happy with our draft. Offensively, things still need to improve. If we can progress our receivers, if we can get them to develop a little bit, I think we're going to have a lot of good pieces. I'd really like to develop Jonathan Taylor. So I'm curious how he's going to be. And then offensive line, I think, is probably the biggest focus that we're going to need to look at. So at the midseason mark, we're 3-3, which is not terrible. I'm not really surprised by that. We're second in our division, 17th best offense. That's actually pretty good. That's a big step up from last year, but our defense went down. At the end of the year, our defense was 15th, if I'm not mistaken. I'm really surprised by that. I'm confused. I don't know what we're missing defensively. Got some players ready to negotiate new contracts, including Mike Gesicki. We already knew that he was going to be here, and he is definitely going to be getting a pretty big contract. I'm going to sign him for 7 years. I'll bump up the money a little bit. Hopefully that makes him stay, and he does. So Mike Gesicki resigns. We've got Emmanuel Ogbah in here, and he's somebody to consider. He's somebody to think about. And he is 27, so he's going to start regressing soon. He did have a good season last year, but a lot of that was from real-life statistics. So I really kind of want to wait on him and see what kind of season he has in sim, and then I'll think about whether I want to re-sign him or not. But somebody I don't really have to think about, Jerome Baker. He's going to sign for 5 years. I really like Jerome Baker in real life and in the game. He's easy to progress. He's easy to get really good. Same with Preston Williams. I'd like to keep him around a little bit more long-term. I'm also going to sign him to a 5-year deal. We'll keep him around for a long time. He is a big target. Somebody to offset Rondale Moore and Kadarius Toney quite a bit there. So aside from them, not really interested in the rest of these guys. Something that I didn't say in the beginning of this video is usually with rebuilds, I'd like to go about 3 years. And obviously the first year didn't count because it was mostly real life. So yeah, I want to try about 3 years per rebuild and kind of see what I can build. Now, if we're right on the cusp and I feel like we really could potentially make it to the Super Bowl or something big like that, or we haven't made the playoffs at all and we have a good team, I'll probably push it into that 4th year. But so far for rebuilds, I think 3 years is kind of the sweet spot of what I'd like to focus on. All right, so we are at the playoff mark. We did not make the playoffs. Final record was 8-8, so that's actually not bad. For Sim, that's not bad. We're moving in the right direction. I know that last year we had a better record and we did make it a lot further in the playoffs, but like I said, the majority of that was because of real life. Let's go ahead and look and see where our offense landed. 22nd in the NFL. Not very good, but it is a step up over last year. 27th best defense. Now that's something that I'm surprised by because we did make a lot of moves. The Tua had a pretty good season, 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 12 picks. I'd like to bring the picks down a little bit, but not a bad season all in all. Jonathan Taylor, not a good season. Couldn't average 4 yards a carry, only 1 touchdown. Patrick Laird, we forgot to pick up a backup running back, so Patrick Laird had 7 touchdowns. Yeah, we're going to focus on running back for sure. Receiving-wise, Rondale Moore had an insane rookie year, 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 99 catches. Preston Williams also had a good season, 8 touchdowns. Mike Gesicki was pretty good. Kadarius Toney was not bad either with 6 touchdowns. I'm really happy with our receiving core, that's for sure. And we need to upgrade our offensive line. We need to upgrade our running backs. Isaiah Simmons had a great year, 129 tackles, 10 for loss, a sack and a half, and 6 interceptions. That's a really, really good season. Potentially defensive player of the year. Now, 14 tackles for loss from Grady Jarrett, 10 from Isaiah Simmons, and 10 from Emmanuel Ogbah, who also had 10 sacks. Let's look at the sack numbers. 10 for Emmanuel Ogbah, 4 for Grady Jarrett, 3 for Christian Wilkins. So we definitely need an edge. I think that's something that we need to focus on. Andrew Van Ginkel, I was hoping could do a little bit more, but I'm not surprised. He only had 1 sack in the season, so we definitely need to focus on edge. And then interceptions, Isaiah Simmons with 6, Kyle Van Noy with 2, Byron Jones with 2, and then a handful of guys with 1 interception on the season. Let's take a look at yearly awards. Check them out. Lamar Jackson wins MVP with the Ravens. No Dolphins, no surprise. Lamar Jackson Offensive Player of the Year. Tua sneaks in at number 9. That's not bad. He had a pretty good season. Now, Defensive Player of the Year is Myles Garrett. Isaiah Simmons at number 2. I was thinking he might win it. I mean, 6 interceptions, 100-plus tackles, 10 for loss. He had a really, really good season. Offensive Rookie of the Year is Trevor Lawrence. Rondale Moore at number 3. He had such a good season. And Kadarius Toney also at number 8. Then Defensive Player of the Year, Hamza Nasruddin, is at 3rd. Rondale Moore has Superstar X Factor. That's huge. Now, did he get that? He did. So he had Superstar when we drafted him. He goes up to Superstar X Factor. That is incredible. We're going to give him, I think Rack 'em Up is a really good ability for receivers. Secondary ability, maybe Matchup Nightmare would be really good. Help him with his route running a little bit. And he also does have some upgrade points. Just 1. We're going to go ahead and upgrade his route running. I think that's something that I'd really like to progress a lot is his route running. Create that separation. Make him a really, really awesome target. Superstar X Factor. That's awesome. 95 speed, 98 acceleration. His catching went up a lot. 11 points with morale. Route running is not bad. He's going to be a really, really good long-term option. Now, Jonathan Taylor did nothing, so he didn't get an upgrade. Penei Sewell has Superstar. That is not a surprise. Elijah Vera Tucker had Star. Robert Hunt is progressing a little bit. Solomon Kinley went up 1. So I think we've got some things to work with. Kadarius Toney is Star. 72 overall. Not a bad option there. I'd like to move Rondale Moore up to our primary receiver. He will also keep him in the slot so he gets a lot of targets. And we are running with Tennessee's playbook. Now, yeah, Isaiah Simmons goes up to Superstar X Factor. That is awesome. Kyle Van Noy also went up to Superstar. Grady Jarrett stays. Hamza Nasruddin had Star. Emmanuel Ogbah stays where he is too. I might re-sign Emmanuel Ogbah for another 2 years or so. And he wants to test out free agency. How much is it to franchise tag? $20 million for the year. I'm not going to franchise tag Emmanuel Ogbah for $20 million for 1 year. We do need edge. We could potentially pick him up in free agency anyways for a little bit cheaper than he wants. Same thing with Jason Sanders. So go ahead and look at free agency. We should have a little bit of money to work with as well. We've got $30 million, almost $31 million. So we've got something to work with. Devontae Adams is here, and nobody wants him. Okay. Mitchell Schwartz is here. J.J. Watt's here. Deron Payne would be good, but we also do have Grady Jarrett, who's been awesome. Devin McCourty, don't need him. Calais Campbell, I would like him, but he's 36. Harold Landry would be a really nice pickup. We're going to have to consider what we could do here. Mike McGlinchey would also be a really nice pickup at right tackle. Maybe we could sign somebody like him, plug him in at right tackle. I would like him a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and offer on some guys. I'll catch you with the results. Okay, so we were able to pick up Harold Landry. That is a massive, massive pickup in free agency. He's going to be a really good option for a long time. Now, I did offer on Devontae Adams because nobody wants him still. How could you not want Devontae Adams? Mike McGlinchey, we're getting beat out for him. Devontae Adams, I would love. I also offered on Mike Pouncey just to bolster up the center position a little bit. Solomon Kinley is young, but I just don't know how much we can develop him, especially in the time that we're working with here. We could always pick up center in the draft, so maybe we'll get rid of Mike Pouncey there. Got Devontae Adams, got Mike McGlinchey. I'd like to pick up Mike McGlinchey, but we could still try and progress Robert Hunt a little bit. We're going to see if we can pick up somebody like Devontae Adams. If we can pick him up, this receiving core is set. Okay, so Devontae Adams started getting offers from the New York Giants. They were going hard on him. And Marcus Davenport, we did offer to, but he rejects. So we're going to go ahead and look forward to the draft. We don't have a ton of options here. We don't have a ton of draft picks because we traded some of them away. We do have a first round pick. So if we can look at maybe edge, if we could maybe look at offensive line, if we've got something on there that's worth trading up for, we'll consider it. But otherwise, let's go ahead and see what we're working with in the draft. We pick at 13th overall. I'm going to go ahead and look through the draft class, and I'll come back in just a minute with you guys. Ooh, Eddie Horan looks like a beast, and he's an early first round guy in the late second round. Do we have a second round pick? We do. 16th pick in the second round. He's definitely going to be worth trying to pick up in the second round. In terms of the rest of these guys, I mean, there's not a ton by the way of defensive ends. There's just really not a ton. We're going to keep looking around. I'm going to see if I can find anything, maybe an offensive lineman. I'm going to keep looking, and I'll catch you guys if I find anything interesting. Okay, so I think pretty clearly the better option at end right now is going to be Cam Barden, but he is primarily a run stopper. I'm going to sim a couple of picks, and if he's still sitting there and we have some potential to move up, see if I can, but I'm just not sure if he's going to be sitting around. The Jets or the Raiders, God, if I could talk, the Raiders take a 71 overall left tackle at number 1 overall. Not good. And the Jets followed it up with a 72 overall right tackle. Nice. And there we go. 75 overall Cam Barden. He'll probably have star or better development. He looked really, really good. So we're going to go ahead and just sim to our pick. I was kind of waiting to see where he would go. And if he was going to fall far enough, maybe I could have made a move up for him. But right now, I'm going to just kind of see what we've got working with here. I mean, we could go for a running back, but do I really want to take a running back at 13th overall? Probably not. So I think best player available right now is probably the guy that I would have taken anyway. That's going to be Derek Ross. He looks really, really good out of LSU. Super strong, super agile. He's a speed rusher. He's 6'5", and he's an early first-round talent. He fell all the way to 13, so I think we're going to pick him up. Derek Ross, welcome to the Dolphins. 76 overall, sorry, not star or better, normal development, which makes plenty of sense because it is Madden 21. He was ranked 6th in the class. We take him at 13. Could be somebody that we try to develop long-term. 79 finesse moves is pretty good. 68 block shedding is not the best, but he's got decent power moves, decent speed, decent acceleration. He might be pretty good. We're just going to have to really try and develop him. And that is a little bit tougher with defensive ends, especially with normal development. So let's go ahead. I'm going to sim to the next round. And if our guy is still sitting there, Haran, I think that's how you say his last name. If he's still sitting here a little bit further into the second round, I'm definitely going to try to make a move for him. Casey Biddle looks all right. Micah Fitzpatrick. Micah Fitzpatrick. Love it. Could we pick up Micah Fitzpatrick? Minka's long-lost cousin. Eddie Haran. I mean, he's all the way at 30th right now. We pick, what, at 16? I might just sim to that pick and hope that he's there. I think that he will be. I really don't think that anyone's going to take him. And he did go. No kidding. All right, so we miss out on Eddie Haran. I'm going to go ahead and check out what he looks like after the draft. But, man, there is really not a whole lot left. Tracy Haynes looks pretty good. Maybe we could pick him up. Dorian O'Neal doesn't look bad either. Could use a little backup for Grady Jarrett if we really don't want to try and progress Raekwon Davis. I'm going to look around, and I'll catch you guys with who I pick. So I think the move is going to be Dorian O'Neal out of Auburn. Maybe you learned a little bit from Derek Brown. I just think he's going to be a good option for us. Now, I was considering Tracy Haynes. He looks really, really good as well. But I just think right now I'd rather bolster up the D-tackle position. 74 overall is Dorian O'Neal. Normal development. He was ranked 10th in the class. Took him at 48. Not as strong as I thought that he would be, but 78 block shed, 81 power moves is really, really good. He should be able to provide some sort of pass rush and definitely stuff in the run. So we're going to sim to the 4th round. If there's nothing there, I'm just going to let the CPU handle the rest. So I think Raymond Holloman is going to be the guy that we go with in the 4th round. He's a mid-second rounder. Good top skills. I think he's going to be all right. Just be someone that we could plug in. 69 overall, normal development. 47th in the class. We take him at 112. He should be all right. Just kind of a situational type of guy. 92 speed, 90 acceleration. Not bad catching stats. Route running could definitely improve. But I think that's going to be the draft for us. I think we picked up a couple of guys that we could definitely work with. Some guys to progress. I'm going to go ahead and advance to the end of the draft. I'll let the CPU handle the rest of it. And I'll see you guys after we're done. All right, so this is a team that we're rolling with in year 2. I know it doesn't look the best, but we've got some pieces to work with. Tua needs to keep progressing. Rondale Moore is going to be amazing for a long time. Preston Williams is a big option. Kadarius Toney could be pretty good for a while. Now, Jakeem Grant is starting to regress a little bit, and Jonathan Taylor went down to normal development. So we definitely need to look into potentially getting a running back. Maybe we could trade for one. The offensive line is getting there. Solomon Kinley needs to progress a little bit. So does Robert Hunt. But Penei Sewell and Elijah Vera Tucker are going to be really good for a long time. So will Mike Gesicki. And then defensively, things are starting to improve for sure. Grady Jarrett, Christian Wilkins, we need a right end. That's something that we absolutely need. Xavier Howard and Byron Jones are really good. Nick Needham and Noah Igbenogany are fine. Marcus Williams and Hamsah Nasruddin is a good duo. Hamsah Nasruddin needs to progress a little bit. And then Kyle Van Noy is regressing quite a bit. Jerome Baker, Isaiah Simmons, who went all the way down to star. Why did he go all the way down to star? He earned Superstar X Factor last year and then regresses all the way down to star. I don't understand that, but we've got good linebackers. Harold Landry was a huge pickup for us. So I think right now we need to look into getting a right end, and we definitely need to look into getting a running back. So I'm going to see if I can make a couple of trades, and I'll see you guys when I find them. Okay, so we did just make a trade. I know it's a lot to be given up, but Kyle Van Noy, our first-round pick, and next year's third-rounder gets the Jets' first round this year. Now, I made that trade for a very specific reason. I'm going to go all in on a running back, and that is Dalvin Cook, somebody who is not the hardest to pick up, but for whatever reason this year, a little bit more stingy. They don't want to give up Dalvin Cook as easily, so got to remember exactly who I was trying to give up. And there you go. We have traded for Dalvin Cook. The Jets' 2023 first-round pick, Austin Jackson, and Raekwon Davis, who is expendable now, for Dalvin Cook, and then their backup running back, who is just kind of a salary dump for them right now. So we pick up one of the best, if not the best, running backs in football. He brings up our offense to an 81 overall, and we still have Jonathan Taylor to back him up, which is really nice. So we've got Tua, we've got Dalvin Cook, Rondale Moore, Kadarius Toney. The offensive line really, really needs to develop. That's something that's going to need to happen if this team is going to be good at all offensively. Then defensively, we did trade Kyle Van Noy, but we did also draft Derrick Ross, who could be really, really good from LSU. He's just going to need that time to develop. Now, I know that we need a right end. We could move Harold Landry down to right end. Could be an option. We could also move Grady Jarrett over, but I'm not sure how much I really want to do that. So I'm going to try and figure out exactly what I want to do here. So we're going to move over Dorian O'Neal to the right end position. I'd really like to just try and develop him a little bit. And we should probably try to pick up a D tackle somewhere, but Derrick Ross, Dorian O'Neal, those guys move positions. Actually, Derrick Ross stays where he's at, but he's going to be a starter now. I really want to try to develop him. Harold Landry is going to be opposite at the rush end position. And we've got Grady Jarrett, Christian Wilkins, and Dorian O'Neal as our defensive line. It's not the best, but we're getting there. All right, so that's the team that we're working with. We're going to go ahead and sim to the midseason mark, and we'll see how this team's doing. I think we definitely have potential. We've upgraded a lot of the team. Picking up Dalvin Cook is a massive, massive get for us. I think he's going to add a lot to the offense. He's going to make things a lot easier for Tua, make things a lot easier for the offensive line too. There's not as much pressure on them probably now to open up a ton of holes because Dalvin Cook's just really good at sneaking in through little holes and, making something happen. So Dalvin Cook could be a great addition to the team. We did win. We beat the Bears 24-16, and they're a good team. So we're sitting at 3-3, worse than I thought we would be. I'd like to take a look at what the stats are, see kind of where we're sitting. 19th best offense. We're moving up. We're moving in the right direction. And defense is 25th. Defense is not good at all. We've got to figure out something here. I'm going to go ahead and negotiate with Grady Jarrett. He's our number one guy. We have to bring him back. He's going to be expensive. He's going to be really expensive, but he's worth the money. $15, $16 million a year. That's a ton of money, but he's worth it. He's a really good player. We signed him back for 3 years. Christian Wilkins, we're going to wait on. I'm just not sure if I really want to keep him around. Same thing for Andrew Van Ginkel. Eric Flowers, another guy that I'm just not sure about. So might have to make a lot of moves here. Jake Elliott, George Fant, I did trade for in New York as a salary dump, so we're going to let him walk because he's insanely expensive. So we're going to go ahead and sim to the end of the season. All right, so at the end of the season, we did miss the playoffs, unfortunately. 9-7 is how we ended the season. So we ended the season a game better than we did last. So again, we're moving in the right direction. 22nd best offense. That's not good. And Tua had a really, really not good year at all. Defensively, we were 9th best in the NFL. So that's really good. Defense is coming together. Offensively, we need to figure things out. Tua, 3,700 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 13 picks. 23 touchdowns is not good. We need him to, we need him to get the ball in the end zone more. Rushing wise, Dalvin Cook. Why did Jonathan Taylor get so many carries? Why did they split carries pretty much all season long? I don't like that at all. Dalvin Cook should have easily over 1,000 yards. 5.1 yards a carry, 12 touchdowns. I mean, he had a great season, but Jonathan Taylor took a lot of the snaps away from him with 10 touchdowns as well. That's crazy. So we're going to have to figure that out for next season. Receiving, Rondale Moore, another really good year. 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. Mike Gesicki, another good season for him. Preston Williams was good. Kadarius Toney was not bad either. Jonathan Taylor also getting really active in the passing game. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to figure out what to do with Jonathan Taylor. But Isaiah Simmons has another monster year again. 129 total tackles, 5 for loss, 2 sacks, 6 picks. That's awesome. Let's go ahead and check out tackles for loss. Grady Jarrett leads the way with 16. Harold Landry with 12. Dorian O'Neal with 12. Derek Ross with 11. Christian Wilkins with 10. A lot of tackles for loss. Why did we not get as many sacks? 6.5 for Grady Jarrett, 6.5 for Harold Landry, 3 for Derek Ross, 3 for Christian Wilkins. We definitely need edge. I feel like I'm going to keep saying that every single season is we need edge. Isaiah Simmons with 6 interceptions. Just insane. Another ridiculously good season. Nick Needham, 4 picks. Hamza Nasruddin with 3. Marcus Williams with 3. Let's go ahead and check out yearly awards. Isaiah Simmons should win Defensive Player of the Year with those stats. I mean, he was incredible. But Deshaun Watson wins MVP with the Texans. No Dolphins. Offensive Player of the Year is obviously Deshaun Watson. And no Dolphins. Defensive Player of the Year, Isaiah Simmons at 2. Myles Garrett, I'm sure, had 35 sacks in the season. Would make plenty of sense with the way that this game sims. AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year, Casey Biddle from the Broncos. No Dolphins. And Defensive Rookie of the Year, Eddie Huron, the guy that I wanted so badly, wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. Of course he does. And Derek Ross is number 2. Dorian O'Neal is number 3. I wonder how Huron is. I forgot to check him out after the draft, but I'm sure he's a beast because we didn't get him. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade our players. We're going to sim to the Super Bowl week, see if we have any dev trade upgrades, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the offseason. All right, so here we are at Super Bowl week. Offense is getting better. Defense is getting better. Rondale Moore is up to an 86 with morale. Superstar X Factor. Dalvin Cook is in the 99 club with Superstar X Factor. Kadarius Toney is progressing a little bit, as is Preston Williams. Tua has to do something. It's hard to figure out what to do with Tua. But Penei Sewell, Elijah Vera Tucker have progressed quite a bit here. Robert Hunt's getting there at 74 overall. Eric Flowers is fine, but he'll probably be gone after the season. And Solomon Kinley. We need to figure out the offensive line. We really need some pieces. Maybe we can pick somebody up in free agency. Mike Gesicki's progressing great. Harold Landry goes up to superstar, and I don't know why. And why did Isaiah Simmons not? Isaiah Simmons has an insane year and does not go up, and Harold Landry does not do much of anything and gets upgraded. Okay. Hamza Nasruddin up to a 75. Grady Jarrett goes up to Superstar X Factor. I didn't even notice that. He had a really good season. I'm happy with how he did. Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, no changes. Marcus Williams continues to progress. So we're going to go ahead and head into free agency. We should have a little bit of money. It's probably not going to be a ton because we have a lot of bigger contracts right now. But I'll see you guys in free agency, and we'll see who's there. So I actually re-signed Eric Flowers. He wasn't asking that much money, about $4 million a year. So I signed him back for 2 years. And now that George Fant is gone, we've actually got $47 million to work with this year. Kareem Hunt's there, which is really good. James Robinson is there, but I don't need any of those guys because we do have Dalvin Cook, who is a monster. Matthew Ioannidis would be really good, and we can put him at right end, which we really, really do need. Devin Bush is there, and he's a beast. Bobby Wagner, Calais Campbell is still there. He hasn't retired yet. Bilal Nichols would be nice as well. Rashawn Gary, Tyus Bowser, Richard Sherman, N'Keal Harry. There's really not the strongest free agency class. So I think I'd really, really like to go ahead and try to sign Matthew Ioannidis. I think he just offers something that we could definitely use. He's going to be expensive. We're going to sign him to 3 years. Hopefully we can pick him up because he would be a really nice addition to this team and we can plug him in. at a defensive end in the 3-4 scheme, and he should fit in really, really well. We're going to have to bump the money up just a little bit. 3 years, $42 million. I know that's a lot of money to be paying, but we've got the money for it right now. I just really hope that we can pick him up. So we are able to sign Matthew Ioannidis. That's a huge, huge pickup. We're going to go ahead and sim to the draft. Check out what we're working with. I don't think that we have a first-round pick because we traded for Dalvin Cook. So we're not going to have a first-round pick, but we do have a lot to work with now. Matthew Ioannidis is going to make things a lot easier. And yeah, we don't pick until the second round. So we're going to go ahead and just sim to the second round. We'll see what we're working with. I haven't even looked at the draft class. So we'll see what we're working with, and I will see you guys there. So I think the pick here is clearly Eric Martin out of Florida. Go Gators. Huge Gators fan. Check out the pennant in the background. Best college football team around. But Eric Martin is a monster. He skipped the combine. He's an early first-round talent. Power rusher out of Florida. He could play the left end position in a 3-4 really, really well. Great top skills, and we're going to take him here at 18th in the second round. He is a 78 overall, star or better development, ranked number 2 in the class, and we took him at 50. All the way down at 50. 88 power moves is insane. 72 block shedding is not bad. 82 speed, 84 acceleration. This guy is going to be a monster for us for a very long time. And that solves our defensive end problems, as we also picked up Matthew Ioannidis in free agency. We're going to go ahead and sim to the 4th round. See what we're working with. Defensive end is good. Outside linebacker is pretty good now. Linebacking is good. We really need to focus on our offensive line, I think, more than anything. So we're going to take a look at what we've got in terms of the offensive linemen. Now, last time I looked, there was not a lot of anything, and we don't really even have many guys scouted who are going to be any good at all. So don't have a ton to work with. I might just take the best guy available, and that looks like Dalton Woody. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and take him. Dalton. I'm not going to say it. Dalton, you look pretty good. 68 overall. Normal development, though, so he's not really going to progress very much at all. Ranked 82, we took him at 114, and we're going to go ahead and let the CPU take care of the rest. I'm not too interested in this draft class. Beyond these guys, yeah, it's just not the strongest draft class aside from who we took, Eric Martin, who is a monster. So I'll see you guys after the draft, and I'll show you the team that we're working with. All right, so this is the team that we're working with for year 3, our final year of the rebuild, unless if we're right on the brink of doing something special. But we've got Tua, Dalvin Cook, Rondell Moore, who's up to an 85 overall. Preston Williams and Kadarius Toney are going to round out the receiving core with Jakeem Grant as well down there. Penei Sewell and Elijah Vera Tucker, really, really good. Solomon Kinley and Robert Hunt are starting to progress a little bit, but I want to see more. We did re-sign Eric Flowers back, like I said, for a couple more years. And Mike Gesicki is also looking like a beast. Defensively is where we are really, really starting to make a lot of improvements here. Grady Jarrett, Eric Martin, and Matthew Ioannidis make up our defensive line. I did move Dorian O'Neal back into defensive tackle to back up Grady Jarrett. And we've got Christian Wilkins also, and Dorian O'Neal is also the backup left end right now. Now for our secondary, Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, Nick Needham, and Noah Igbenogany are our 4 guys. They look pretty good. Marcus Williams, Hampson DeSerldine, really good safety duo. And then our linebackers, got Derek Ross. He needs to progress a little bit, but he is only normal development. Isaiah Simmons, Jerome Baker, and Harold Landry make up the rest, and that's a really good group, at least in my opinion. We've got an 87 overall defense, and I think an 84 overall offense to make an 84 overall team. So this is going to be the specialists here. I made sure Jonathan Taylor is not going to be carrying the ball, hardly ever, because I don't ever want to see that happen again. I got so mad last time. So I'm going to go ahead and spend some Coach XP for our final season. Like to see our guys progress as much as possible. And we're going to go ahead and sim to the midseason mark. I anticipate that this team is going to be much, much better than last season. I think we made a lot of improvements. We had a really good draft. Eric Martin looks like he could be an absolute tank for a long time. So hopefully him and Matthew Ioannidis help out the defense a ton. So I'll go ahead and catch you guys at the midseason mark, and we'll see how the team is doing. Okay, at the midseason mark, the Dolphins are sitting at 3-4. No way. 3-4. That's not good. 17th best offense in the NFL. It's a step up from last year, so I don't understand what we're doing wrong. And the 7th best defense. How are we only 3-4? Why is Dalvin Cook only rushing for 346 yards? Why? Why is Jonathan Taylor splitting slap? I am having a stroke in the middle of this video because I'm so angry. Why is Jonathan Taylor splitting snaps with Dalvin Cook? Why? I've adjusted the specialists. Clearly, Dalvin Cook's our starter. Why? I don't understand. I'm not going to worry about re-signing guys because this is our last year. We're going to upgrade them, though. Make sure we've got the best team out there as possible. I don't understand why Jonathan Taylor is getting as many carries as he is. I really just don't get it. We're going to go ahead and sim to the playoffs. I'm sure this won't be a playoff team, so we're going to end the video on kind of a somber note. But maybe we can pull it together second half of the season. Maybe Dalvin Cook can actually carry the ball considerably more than Jonathan Taylor. I would hope that's the case. But we'll go ahead and see. We got a couple weeks left. I don't really know what I did wrong. I mean, I know the offensive line is not as good as it probably should be, and I could have made a little bit more moves, but yeah, we missed the playoffs again. 4-12. I don't understand why we went 4-12, though. I really don't. I think we have a pretty good team. 11th best offense in the NFL, and Tua had a much better season. And then the defense falls to 28th. That is not good. Tua had a great season, 4,400 yards, 34 picks, but 26 interceptions. That's so bad. Rushing, Dalvin Cook, 882 yards, 4.3 yards a carry, and 11 touchdowns. But Jonathan Taylor with 96 carries, just stealing them from Dalvin Cook. I don't know why that's happening so much, but it is. Receiving, Rondale Moore. Kadarius Toney, actually. Kadarius Toney with 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns leads the way. Mike Gesicki also 1,100 yards and 7 picks. I was expecting just to say Rondale Moore, so I said it. But Rondale Moore, 648 yards, 5 touchdowns. I don't get that either because I adjusted him as our slot, and he's also our number 1 option. So I'm not quite sure what happened. I hope the CPU didn't go back and adjust the rest, but Isaiah Simmons with 142 tackles, 5 for loss, 2 sacks, and a pick. Let's go ahead and check out tackles for loss. 11 for Matthew Ioannidis. Eric Martin also had 11. Grady Jarrett with 10 and 11 sacks as well. And then for our sacks, 11 for Grady Jarrett, 7 for Harold Landry, 5 for Eric Martin, 3.5 for Matthew Ioannidis, who I thought would do a little bit more than that. But Byron Jones with 4 picks, Xavier Howard with 2. I'm sure no defensive touchdowns in there. Let's go ahead and check out the yearly awards, and then we'll end the video. Russell Wilson wins MVP with the Seahawks. No Dolphins in there. AFC Offensive Player of the Year is Lamar Jackson. I wonder if Tua can sneak in to the bottom, and he doesn't. Probably because of those 26 interceptions that you threw. That's so bad. Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. Isaiah Simmons in there at number 9. Offensive Rookie of the Year is going to be Kevin Burns from the Steelers. Byron Shepard sneaks in at number 10. And then Defensive Rookie of the Year is J.D. Royal from the Baltimore Ravens. And Eric Martin at number 4. Let's go ahead and sim to the Super Bowl. I want to see what Eric Martin's development was, or his development trait, rather. So we're going to go ahead and sim to the Super Bowl, give it a look, and then we'll round out the video. All right, so this is the final team, guys. After upgrades, we are ending the video with Tua Tagovailoa going up to superstar development. Could have happened a little bit sooner. 83 overall Tua. We've got Dalvin Cook, Rondale Moore. Kadarius Toney also goes up to superstar. Preston Williams down to an 80 overall with regression, or I guess with morale. Wonder if he is regressing. He's not that old, is he? He's 27. Yeah, he probably wouldn't regress for another year or two. Penei Sewell, Elijah Vera Tucker, Solomon Kinley. Everyone's down on morale. They hate being on this team. I don't blame them. And then defensively, Eric Martin only had star. That's a bummer. I was hoping that he would be at least superstar because he looked like a superstar. And he also skipped the combine, which is a superstar move. But the rest of the team honestly looks really good. 88 overall 88 overall defense, 85 overall offense, and an 86 overall team. Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Matthew Ioannidis, Grady Jarrett, Eric Martin. Derek Ross goes up to star as well. Isaiah Simmons, Jerome Baker, Harold Landry, Marcus Williams, and Hamson Nasruddin. That's the final team, guys. I don't know why we went 4-12. I think this team is much better than 4-12. Maybe the offensive line. So next rebuild that I do, I'll have to focus a lot more on the offensive line. But next rebuild is going to be an unrealistic fantasy-style rebuild. I'm going to do it on the Miami Dolphins again. We're going to make a lot of moves, a lot of things that probably wouldn't happen in real life. But guys, that's the video for today. Let me know next video that I do, would you rather me go more than 3 seasons? Would you rather see me do 4 or 5? It's just kind of up to what you guys would prefer to see. I know that it's the first rebuild of the channel and it didn't go very well. So let me know what you guys would prefer to see, but I do appreciate you guys stopping by and checking out the video regardless. Now, if you guys do like the channel, if you love the content, if you're interested in watching some more Madden rebuilds, and then also I've got a plenty of Dolphins related content that I just go week to week and kind of review and talk about the Dolphins, subscribe down below. Definitely consider doing that. Totally free. You can unsubscribe later if you hate the channel, and I'm sure some of you probably will despise what I do here, considering we are more about the Dolphins than any other team. But guys, I appreciate you stopping by. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy your new year. Be safe. Have a great time, and I'll catch you very soon. And as always, guys, fins up.
Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1.